page out of social media's books where they introduce features that nobody wants.
Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 304 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the #1 live podcast in Canada. We're recording on July the 5th, 2021. As always, my name is Andrew. I'll be your host. Joining me tonight, we have Pierre, Brian, Gavin, and Ian.
And we'd love to hear your feedback about the show. Please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com.
All right, we need your help to support the Canadian Patriot Podcast. Visit patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. Show you're not a communist. Buy a CPP t-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. And you can visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com homepage and follow the link on the right. All the way over to the right.
This brings us to my favorite segment. It's called What Are We Drinking? It's where Ian tells us he's running out of rum.
Sadly.
Well, let's go anti-clockwise. Ian, what are you drinking for the last time ever?
Yeah, the very last time ever, the very last of the Venezuelan non-socialist rum that I picked up many moons ago before Chavez took over. So yeah, Solera dark rum. Bye-bye.
Salute.
The new stuff coming out of there tastes surprisingly like zoo animals.
That and reused sewage water or something. I don't know what they're doing with it, but
Oh dear. Gavin, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Signal Hill and Diet Pepsi this evening.
Good stuff. Oh, we didn't pick on Ian. Ian, are you mixing the rum with anything?
you busted me. Okay, I've got 4 of these left.
Almost let it slide.
It's a podcast. Those are Coca-Colas.
Yeah,
yes, they are. I will try and fix myself next episode and stop using those. I'll speed them to my daughter or something.
Well, just stop buying the poison water from the grocery store.
That's right.
Or at least buy the correct poison water.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm drinking the Sleeman 2.0s again.
You doing the keto thing or what?
No, it's just I drink a lot of beer, so
I feel that. I feel that deeply.
It's probably a good idea that I don't pound, hard beers every day. Or this is probably just as bad. This just makes me feel better, I guess.
It's fine.
It's all about the feels, man. It's all about the feels.
Yeah.
If you drink twice as much, though, it doesn't really count.
No, well, that's the thing is I'm still maintaining, the same amount, like a couple of beers after work, and on a Monday, definitely more than that. But yeah, I just find that it definitely helps keep the weight off the stomach. That's for sure. Slow, like how we say we like it's a train wreck regardless, but you speed it up or you slow it down. I'm voting Liberal Light with my beer, I guess.
Fair.
I like it. Pierre, what are you drinking?
Drinking cold shots again tonight.
Cold shots. All right.
Attaboy.
And I did not realize that we had an IRA theme going on tonight. Gavin's got a Shamrock shirt and Pierre's got a Dropkick Murphy shirt.
Yes, sir.
Wow,
Nice.
I mean,
Perhaps later we're going to overthrow a British government. Well, a government headed by a queen.
Yeah.
And also the Queen of England.
So,
Hi-yo! He's sharp.
so next Canada Day, is it going to be year 1 of a free country?
I mean, it could be.
Can we
I know some
declare,
people.
like,
if you know some
UDI?
people.
Can we declare
I
what?
feel like the 11th of November is already a big deal. I don't want to reuse
Yeah, but we can
that
make
date.
it. We can make it our own thing, but it still could be like our own declaration or our own unilateral declaration of independence.
I'm not sure that works like that, but I'm willing to find out.
There's only one way to find out, right? We just got to try.
Next
Well,
Friday,
for-
the 13th.
Works for me.
Yeah, why
I'm
not?
fine with that. In order to prepare for your own unilateral declaration of independence, if you're not working on the Patriot Challenge, you probably should be. Because my success rate has been abysmal. I can do like 4. Getting all 5 every day is really a lot harder than it seems like it should be. But
I'm good with the water.
the Sleeping Clear does not count.
It's close,
but I drink a lot of water too.
Yeah.
I definitely do the water.
I can imagine.
When you pee, if it comes out looking like Sleeman Clear, you're okay. If it comes out looking like Guinness, that's the problem.
You have one in particular that you fall short on every time, or is it just kind of a random thing?
For me, it's either the book or the skill. Those are the two that I'm usually light on. Just because of the way that things work out. Getting the exercise is not usually a problem because I've built a pretty good habit there. And drinking the water, again, because I've built a pretty good habit there. I have a lot of projects going on, so completing a task that improves things is easy to check a thing off my to-do list every day, work on a project around the house and get one step closer to selling this house. It's the practice a skill or read a book, because I take the skill as a literal like hard skill like lock sport or something that I don't do as a profession, right? Like gardening is not practicing a skill for 10 minutes a day, right? Reloading ammunition is not practicing a skill.
Well, I would call reloading practicing a skill for sure.
I'm sure, and for some people, I'm sure it is. But for it's another chore on my chores list because it's a thing that I do so frequently. I don't feel like it's a fair thing to say that I'm practicing a
few spur times. It probably is, but like
after
sure. That,
but the volume that I'm reloading when we're talking about like thousands of rounds a month,
it's more like choring at that point.
Yeah, it's not really a skill.
As far as the reading, what I found out actually, if you want to sneak that in every day, is just in that last 15 minutes as you slop into bed before you fall asleep, you just read until the iPhone hits you in the face or something, or the Kindle or whatever you're using, and just you get your 15 minutes into that, at least that way.
I don't do so I have trouble sleeping. I'm sure we've mentioned this before on the show. Gavin and I both suffer from terrible sleeping problems. So if you're new to the show, Gavin and I both have problems sleeping. There, you're caught up. But I reserve the bedroom for 2 things, and neither of them are reading. One of them is sleeping. So we don't do electronics in bed or Kindles or tablets.
The other is building a fort.
Phones. And...
Yeah.
I was gonna say yoga, but sure.
Oh no, that's you do that in the rumpus room. Is where you do the yoga.
Well, yeah,
behind the red door.
Room. That makes sense. So I can't read in bed, or I won't go to sleep. Because it's a problem that I picked up as a teenager. Because I used to read in bed like a lot, and that is likely one of the reasons why I have difficulty sleeping now, is because I spent too many nights reading books instead of going to bed.
I don't know if Playboy counts.
Well, I read it for the articles, you see.
Yeah, but that's also why he was up all night.
Yeah, you literally have to read it for the articles nowadays. They don't have any skin in it, so
that's upsetting. So yeah, those are the 2 that I flip-flop back and forth on. I either manage to get a skilled in or I get reading in, because I tend to do things in big chunks. So I'll sit down and read like several chapters of a book, like not 15 minutes, like an hour and a half of a book. Or I'll go and work on a hard skill. And same thing, it'll be not an inconsequential amount of effort. Oh, maybe we lost Brian. So aside from that, do your 5 things, be a better person for reasons that might become important in the near future.
Okay.
While you're being a better person. Oh, refill time. I see. The Finnish Reserve Sport Association, Rustwell, is organizing an international 4-day distance marching event at the end of July. That's like less than 20 days from now. 4 days. Distances for each of the days are 10, 25, 40 kilometers. You can do one or up to all 4 days as whatever amount of distance you want. So if you want to do 1 day for 10K, that's cool. If you want to do 4 days for 40K each day and do 160, that's cool too. Make sure you sign up though and get your patch and your diploma.
Yep.
And
my shirt arrived.
One of you guys received it? Yeah, sorry, I saw it.
Yeah, my shirt already arrived, so I'll be able to wear that when I do the 4th and final day, the big 25K that we're planning.
Awesome.
Nice dry fit shirt so that I won't soak my shirt through because I know I'll be sweating at the end of that.
Yeah.
Now you got the diploma, the medal, and the shirt then.
Yes,
I wonder if that means my shirt's going to show up.
it should.
Well, that would be cool. All I got in the mail today was a firearms registration letter
Well, that's
What?
also
For what?
good.
for a
You
firearm.
get you got a new. Oh, that's right. You got your.
Yeah, the
I
new one
recently
that he
purchased a
almost
SIG.
exposed live on air.
That's right.
Almost.
I will not pick it up off the side of my desk today and fiddle fart with it while we're recording. But I recently acquired a new SIG P320 X5 Legion,
Awesome.
an
Nice.
exceedingly long title.
Well,
At least it wasn't a letter saying bring it in for an inspection.
Yeah,
Well,
That one's pretty much IPSC ready, isn't it? Like, it comes out of the box and it's pretty much good to go. It's got the flat trigger and the big mag well and everything else, right?
yeah, but the magwell is not production optics legal.
Hmm.
I should mention I'm shooting production optics with it, so I put a big SIG Romeo red dot on it.
oh, really? Already?
Yes,
Nice. Did you have that already, or did you buy that?
I bought it to go with the pistol.
Awesome.
So the no magwell though, but yeah, ready to go, maxed out the weight, not legal for IDPA because it's too heavy.
it's a good thing we don't shoot IDPA.
Yeah, very good thing we don't shoot IDPA.
Are you going to
But,
run it in action pistol? I guess.
Yeah, it's half an ounce too heavy for carry optics for IDPA, but I mean, for club matches, they're not going to weigh it. And I've let other people shoot our club matches using an X5 Legion, so
Close enough.
whatever, it's fine.
So your first time running it, I guess, will be at the service pistol on the 17th.
We'll see if I get a holster for it or not. I need my Gray Fox order to ship because 5-week lead time right now for Eric and the guys. P.S. Not that I mean, Eric's a friend and like we do business, but Gray Fox is good. If you want a holster, go to Gray Fox because I've ordered a bunch more from them. Because I called Eric and the team and I was like, so I got a new pistol. I'm going to need about 6 holsters.
Yeah, can confirm. Pretty much all of my holsters are from those guys, and I started buying their stuff before we were friends, which is how we became friends. But yeah, 10 out of 10. You know what? 11 out of 10 do recommend.
Oh, nice.
They are great holsters.
And I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. They say 5-week lead time, but it's usually faster.
I know,
Usually.
but I'm not banking on it, and it's like the July match that we've got for service pistol was like right on the edge of when I ordered. So
yeah, I've got to make a trek out there for my new 5.7 and get them to make me one because they need to scan it.
they're going to scan it. That's great.
Yeah,
That's cool.
See, again, like you get to know people and you make friends and they don't do a thing and they're like, well, we could do that if you want to help us do that.
Yeah.
Right. Because like they don't make 5.7 holsters, but if Gavin has a 5.7 and wants a holster, if he can take it to them and they can scan it, they can make him a holster.
Yeah, they're great.
It's a
like
whole
that.
like 3D modeling process.
That's cool.
They're the ones that made your holster to
my-
match your shirt there.
Yeah, my Hawaiian print one. They made that for me. Yeah.
That's nice.
That's a great holster.
Yes.
Probably one of the
Should we-
coolest holsters I've ever seen.
It's pretty boss. You want to get into the actual meat of the thing?
Well, should we do
Yeah.
listener feedback? I mean,
Yeah.
aside from talking about my insomnia and recent firearms purchases, I feel like this is an episode of another podcast, and I'm a fellow who sold most of his firearms, and just talking about all the things that I've done lately. We should do listener feedback.
Yeah, we could do that. All right. Your first listener feedback from Tom. Hey guys, longtime listener, first time caller. My watch just announced A Handful of Hard Men is available. My teenage self snickered. Great book. I usually enjoy your podcast while I'm commuting. I'll prepare by wearing appropriate shorts prior to listening to this one. Keep up the good work. Tom.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, if you need the shorts, we'll let you in on a little secret. if you head to the company Savage Tacticians, you can pick up your own pair of Rhodesian print silky shorts. Brian is modeling them right now, in fact.
I do have them on, but I don't know if anybody actually wants to see me wearing them.
Just take his word for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
they are handsome looking.
If you are going to come out to the
I could do a walk by.
the Sunday of the Resul Ruck March thing, the team will be wearing them. So prepare yourself accordingly.
Make sure you have your sunglasses on.
Yeah, sunglasses, or by also getting yourself a pair.
Before I forget the Resul thing, you said New Shooter Canada's been signed on to that?
Yeah.
I understand that all of the regular panelists from New Shooter Canada are going to be participating.
Yep.
Oh, I see. It's funny because I mentioned that to my fellow podcasters on the Copycat CPP, and I kind of got met with silence on that one. So,
well,
weird.
That's all right.
Too busy prepping at home.
We can do a little no-knock wellness check on them to motivate them.
Yeah, or something.
I'm not going to say I'm disappointed that the Prepper podcast is not taking their personal preparedness personally, but
we do harp on personal health quite a bit, don't we?
I am a little bit disappointed with the lack of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Well,
and I don't believe that anybody on the Prepper podcast is CAF, so they don't have an excuse for hating ruck marches.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm doing my second practice run tomorrow. Though it'll be it'll be over 10K for sure. So
there's no CO2 or carbon monoxide. Sorry, that's the one that we're worried about.
There's
right. No carbon monoxide on a ruck march. Yeah, CO.
Yeah, unless you're like I don't know, immediately next to a forest fire or something. I don't know.
Unless you're doing it on a treadmill.
Yeah, or next to a parking lot. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
There
won't be any of that to be worried about. It's probably a good place to be.
I would think.
Well,
I suppose we should go to the second email here. I got one from Jason. It says, "Great podcast. Hey, great podcast. I enjoy listening to you when I get my ruck on. Just out of curiosity, on your T-shirts, do you offer the print on the backside?" From Jason.
No.
No, only on the front.
I mean, I guess I could, but we'd put it on the front. I could ask Tim if you want a special one.
Well, actually, the wife's got one, a green one that from I think from one of your first runs. It has Patriot Podcast on the front and Ragnarok Tactical on the back.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that shouldn't exist.
I think that's an Easter egg. Yeah, that's.
Oh, I could show that to you. I think if I made a little friend run right here, but there's a couple that are two-sided ones.
Oh, well, thanks Tim for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim has made us a special T-shirt. Then okay.
Yeah. You
Those
remember
were not
like
on purpose. I didn't order them that way.
Back in the day when Beanie Babies were a thing. This is the rare of the CPP/Ragnarok shirts.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Is that a teaser?
Oh, sorry. We should go back to YouTube. I wasn't paying attention. Chris says that service pistol is from low ready, so any holster would work. Service pistol, the way I'm running it at Guelph this year, we're changing it to NSCC style. So it's from the holster, loaded, and ready.
Big boy rules.
Unless you have a Browning, in which case it's calf style, loaded and draw and rack. I can pick on Brownings because Brownings.
Yeah. But that's mostly because they're terrible, and if you shake them, they'll probably just fire.
Whoa, that is a double-sided shirt that we sold. Okay.
Well, there you go.
I didn't send it to you that way on purpose, Ian.
Yeah, it worked out really well, though. It's like doubly triggering front and back, so if a liberal approaches from the front or the back, they get equally upset.
All right.
Well, there you go.
Well, I mean, if that's a popular thing, which they appear to be based on the YouTube comments.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I definitely would grab one of those.
Maybe we need to do some kind of a run of
double-sided,
like inside out or upside down or something. Like you can wear it.
You should do
4 days in a row with a different logo on the front each time.
Yeah.
Do some.
Now you're talking.
Some with the Ragna. Just do some with the Ragna on the front, and then with a little Patriot on the back, and then reverse it too. Do some with the Patriot
What's
And
I'm
then
saying?
Ragnar.
Like there's a front and a back and inside and an outside. Like we could do it. You could get 4
Yeah.
days at a shirt with never having the same logo on the
Yeah,
front.
it's like when you go on a long trip with your underwear.
You could call
That's
it the 4-day
yes.
ruck
Yeah.
shirt. The 4-day
right.
ruck shirt.
The armpits on that would be so nasty. But yeah, we can talk some design stuff and figure out a
Didn't
thing.
on purpose do that, but I suppose we could.
Yeah, front, back, it's all the same.
I don't know if that's what the people want. I mean, we can talk to a guy.
I mean, it's available for $99.95 second-hand purchase if you want. I mean,
Previously enjoyed.
yeah.
Already
$99.
broken in, worked out all the
Supply and
kinks.
demand,
It's like
we can
buying
make
an
more.
FX9.
Yeah,
It's actually, I gotta say, like that, whatever brand of shirt he used, there's a special like source he used that it wears well, he says, or whatever. It's pre-shrunk and everything else. It's a really comfortable t-shirt. I mean, whatever he's using for a base tee,
It
it's great.
should be a next level 32 or 3600. I forget the model number, but I picked out a specific type of shirt because my darling wife was very particular about fabrics. So she spent a lot of time looking at t-shirts to find the blanks, like the plain t-shirt pre-logo that washed well and kept their color and didn't fade and didn't shrink and do weird things. Because like pretty well everybody prints on like the cheap ass Gildan shirts, and they always they shrink on like one half of them, or they do something weird, or
God
they're not.
damn Gildans.
They're not
No, that is the
particularly
go-to
comfortable.
favorite of the wife for sure. Like that is the favorite. tee
they're
of all,
very
so.
comfortable. Yeah, they wear well. It takes the ink well. It's
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into double-sided t-shirts. We'll have to, I don't know, maybe on Discord. Younger Andrew. Nay, better Andrew. Make a bot with a voting option for me. I need a poll.
Oh, I think it's unanimous.
No, but like which one goes on the front, which one goes on the back? That's the
Do 50-50. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Okay.
just make whatever amount you do, just make some with the Ragnarok on the front and Patriot on the back, and then make some with Patriot on the front and the Ragnarok on the back.
we can
Okay.
come up with some fun ideas. We'll talk. We'll get the marketing department together.
perfect. Gavin is in charge of this. I'm having no responsibility.
You can have shirts that say, "Show me where Trudeau touched you."
I mean,
Until the one with the character of Andrew and worst podcast host ever caption comes out.
wow. Bringing back an oldie.
Got to go retro every now and again.
Well, more emails from Jason, I think. Is he in Frozen?
No, it's there. Oh, it's me again. Oh, look at that. Okay, sorry. From Jason, once again. Wild boar. There is a feral pig problem in southern Manitoba and around Glenboro. From Jason. Yeah, well, that's the problem. Is government never catches up in time as far as hunting regs or lack thereof. Feral pigs are nocturnal. No hunting allowed at night. How can you not expect them to spread?
And I didn't realize that the seat of power in Manitoba was in that part of the province.
Some pigs are more equal than others. These ones are the feral versions that aren't allowed to be hunted. So, or generally aren't allowed. Like, it's funny that BC here, we have a no bag limit, no close season for feral hogs. We don't have any.
Same here in Ontario. It's basically, you need your small game license, but if you can find them, let her rip.
But the problem is, of course, they don't allow shooting at night. So when are you going to find them? Like, unless you happen to stumble across them in the woods, which is pretty unlikely. So.
Did we say something about feral pigs in Manitoba at some point? I'm just not sure why we got an email about it.
Well, we did on the Prepper podcast a few times, but
yeah, they're everywhere.
The problem is they're
he just wants to share his information with us.
Yeah, they're spreading at the rate of 80,000 square kilometers per year into Canada right now because they've actually figured out how to build pig loos during the winter.
Pig loos.
Yeah, so they actually.
I mean,
they're not just a Texas thing anymore. So they've actually figured out how to survive the winters in Canada. So they just build these pig loos and they manage to overwinter using their body fat. And then they've actually spread into all sorts of Saskatchewan now and Manitoba to the point where they're destroying crops to the tune of like multiple millions per year now.
Really?
You know what would really be awesome?
Helicopters and
Helicopters.
AR-15s to hunt feral hogs.
What,
No, Justin Trudeau.
Oh,
I mean,
Also true.
all of those things. But yeah,
Yes.
like an AR-10 with no magazine capacity would be like the perfect thing for hunting feral pigs.
no, I think, Gavin, we should invite foreign hunters in to hunt them with guns that we can't have in Canada.
Are
No,
they
we can't
allowed to
hire them.
use drones?
We can't hire them from New Zealand anymore because those guys that were hunting in BC are not bringing their ARs.
Yeah, I know that's where I was getting at because we
Yeah.
had a feral deer or like an overgrowth of deer problem in the Queen Charlottes, and
Yeah,
they brought
because
in
you couldn't just sell a couple hundred more deer licenses and make money to solve the problem rather than spend money to solve the problem.
Oh, you're under the impression that the government exists to solve problems.
No, after 304 episodes, I'm certainly not under that.
Okay,
But
just checking. Just checking.
every now and again, it'd be nice to have even like the slightest amount of common sense.
Again,
no.
government.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a hope though, right? Like you have to have hope.
Well, maybe someday with a real government, if there's another prime minister like Ian Douglas Smith, maybe we could have some common sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we're going to be that lucky. Another email from Jason. Jason was on the email train this week. Actually, we haven't done listener feedback in a couple weeks, so there was a little bit of a queue. Conveniently, it's all from Jason and Tom. Hi, Tom. Regarding Bill C-36, this is from Jason. As C-10 was pushed through and supported by most of all parties, which means more Mitsu and Nickelback. I don't know what those are. Could you also
Nickelback
give
is
opinions on
banned.
bringing back, if I think Section 13, hate crime section, the one where you're charged without trial or seeing your accuser? I know you touched on it before. I wonder that as a gun owner, if I could charge the government under the above mentioned hate crime, because it seems we have hit every check mark on the list. By the way, still haven't found Antifa on the latest round of terror groups. Really tempted to move back to Alberta or the Yukon. Great podcast, guys. Jason. So, Jason, thank you for your many emails. We are going to talk a little bit about C-10 later in the show. It's in the deck. There are things about the hate crimes bill, the C-10 stuff, that really irks me. Not the least of all is like the $70,000 fine if the government feels that you've committed a hate crime, but also that the government can do it based on if they feel you've committed a hate crime. Not if they can prove you've committed a hate crime.
That's the way it's written. It says if they feel you have done it, they don't have to prove that you did it or anything.
So you can be accused of a hate crime and it can go to a tribunal, not a court. And the tribunal can say that you have committed a hate crime without actually requiring proof of that, and you're not invited.
And
So
you get a
you're-
$70,000 fine.
It could also be something that you posted like 20 years ago, and it can also be something that you may yet have posted. Not even posted yet, but you might post it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, actually, Ian
that
Runkle
thing
does a great...
the thing that you said forever ago that you forgot about that wasn't illegal at the time. Yeah,
was
it's
on,
now
like-
retroactively illegal.
That was on an AOL online forum or something from back when they handed out free CDs in the magazines.
That they actually have to use the Wayback Machine to find. Yeah, that thing that you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so actually Ian Runkle does a good breakdown on it and the fact that you basically, they can even do pre-crime on it too. So they can just say they're fearful you might be spouting hate in the future, therefore you're on the hook.
Congratulations, white people in Canada. You're all receiving a $70,000 fine because you might be a bigot.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no might about it. We are, according to all the politicians.
Am I the only one that's getting a Minority Report feeling from that movie there with
Yeah, but way less Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. Way less Tom Cruise, but Minority Report, right? Like, that's what that sounds like.
Who has better hair though, Justin Trudeau or Tom Cruise?
I'm going with Tom, boy. Come on.
I will also have to go with
Top Gun.
Tom.
I mean, I do love
Nobody
Top
fucks
Gun.
with Ace Maverick.
Yeah. We still need to do that episode where we just watch Top Gun.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. I'm still in.
I mean, my job almost requires me to have that movie memorized line by line, but okay, sure.
The jean shorts he just does
Really?
because he wants
I didn't know you were in the Navy.
Kinda, sorta.
Oh boy. Anyway.
Depends on how many drinks you get me. So
we're gonna touch on C10 a little bit. Yeah, Antifa's not designated a terror group, but don't worry, the Proud Boys are, and we've saved Canada as a result.
Yeah.
So
and all of our shows moving forward will now be redacted.
I mean, I'm waiting. I'm amazed that we haven't been redacted off of YouTube yet. We've been redacted off of every other. Well, I guess that's not true. As far as I know, the podcast still exists on the Book of Faces.
Yes.
But I'm not allowed to log into the Book of Faces, and if I try to make a new account, I immediately get banned from. Well, I shouldn't say immediately, but I am promptly banned from the Book of Faces under the new account. My dog got banned from Facebook.
No way! Oh yeah, Remy.
Like, I've been banned many times from Facebook. My dog has been banned at least once, allegedly twice from Facebook.
That dog, man, he's always saying the most outlandish thing.
The craziest thing comes out of his mouth.
And yet your beard is not, I'm sure.
Is my beard still on Facebook?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been on there for months.
Okay, so there was
your beard is still on Facebook.
Well, congratulations to the person who runs my beard's account that's managed to keep it on Facebook as long as they have.
See, maybe they should transition that over to you, and now you could actually run it.
No, just keep doing you. It was a funny joke for years, and people used to give me grief about it because they were like, "Aha, this is funny." I'm like, I only see like half the stuff that gets posted because of the way the algorithm works. So I'm glad that my beard is still doing its thing on Facebook.
Well, it's so good. Glorious. How could it not?
Go beard.
Yeah.
I support the beard.
So you should get your beard like take a collector and just get like a mouth and eyes to start talking from your beard there. You might be able to get it back in
Well, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, we're not on the Facebook, but I'm amazed we haven't been redacted from YouTube. I guess Google is a little bit more tolerant of us for the time being.
Yeah, for now.
I mean, we had to stop handling firearms, which is a whole own problem, and I got a copyright strike for that time that we played the TikTok Corona song.
Oh, really?
Hey, we've been demonetized a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we got demonetized a long time ago, but like at least the videos are still up, so people can easily obtain them.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to like BitChute. Because the problem with BitChute is you try to upload a video 15 times, and on the 14th time it might work.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Actually,
it's like
we're trying to take over new YouTubes, right? But Odyssey's actually working out fairly well. I'm actually putting secondary copies of Prepper Podcast on Odyssey, and it seems to work. And there's actually like a instant payment system as well. So
I don't mean to be a boomer, but I have no time or interest to learn new things.
Yes,
I'm closer to being a boomer than you are.
Well, I'm half boomer on my dad's side.
Yeah,
I'm half boomer.
Oh, I miss our intern.
Andrew, did you tell us what you're drinking today? I don't think you did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to miss me.
Let's start the show all over again, guys. Hold on.
Sorry. Cut. Redo. God damn it, Andrew.
Waterloo Dark. Pour the bore.
All right, man. Jesus.
Well, that goes well with the last story. It's the rampant wild boar problem.
Yeah. They're infesting Andrew's beard.
I like water. Well, I don't like everything Waterloo makes, but generally, like I like Waterloo. They do good stuff.
It's decent beer.
They do some good stuff. All right, so some news.
Yeah.
Things that we've already touched on that we'll be revisiting include on CNN. I don't know if we've ever used CNN as a source before, but here goes.
We generally try not to, but I guess, you know.
Facebook tests prompts that ask users if they're worried their friend is becoming an extremist.
Oh, boy. What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this started popping up. So I originally saw this. I think I saw this on TechCrunch or maybe Wired. I don't know. I saw this on a technology blog, website, e-zine, whatever thing. and it broke into like mainstream news because I guess this is a big deal. So in the past week, Facebook has started putting extremism warnings on things,
Okay.
Yeah.
but not on like the actual
what's
content.
extreme? I've
Well,
never
so-
seen like Al Qaeda like post a video on Facebook.
Anything that doesn't discuss genders or trans surgeries.
Well, so
What?
they're not putting, it's not like Instagram where you get a warning. So, on Instagram, anytime you say anything that involves the letter or the characters 1 and 9, you get a COVID-19.
Yeah.
Click here for more information about COVID-19 banner. Takes up like the lower third of the screen. It's not like that on Facebook. Facebook is giving like random pop-ups to users saying that you may have been exposed to extremist content.
Oh,
And
no.
asking the question if any of your friends are becoming extremists, and referring them
And then
to
you can
help
narc
centers
them,
to
yeah.
have
Yeah.
right-wing extremists be deprogrammed. I forget the name of the group now, but there's a very prominent group in the US that helps deprogram right-wing extremism,
I
which
thought
I
that
had
was
literally
Antifa.
never heard of up until reading
So
a news.
basically, they're trying to wipe everything that goes against their agenda off the internet.
Well, it's more like what's old is new again. I mean, back in the days, you could denounce your parents or your neighbors to the state, and they'd send you off to Gulag for reprogramming and everything else. It's just the modern day version of.
Well, and that's I think, so yes, part of that, but at the same time, do you remember the election in America when Facebook kicked off millions of users?
Yeah, that's when my account was deleted.
Right. So I have a suspicion that the people that are running Facebook for political ends, not necessarily the people that are actually own Facebook, but the people that are working in colluding, if you will, running Facebook and mass media and other large international cabals. I wonder if they've realized that they made a small judgment error in removing all of the white nationalists from Facebook. I'm saying white nationalists in a tongue-in-cheek kind of a way because they were just kicking off Republicans and conservatives. But they kicked off a lot of people off of Facebook, and as a result, they can't keep tabs on those people now.
Yeah.
Right? So I wonder if the people that were running a lot of these large media government apparatuses, the social media, Facebook, all of these other large institutions.
The same people that are basically owned or paid off by the same companies that were dropping off the pallets of bricks everywhere.
Well, I'm not saying they're all related, but I mean, if you go and look up who owns it, it's probably Vanguard and BlackRock and Blackstone, because they own everything and they fund everyone in politics. And they have people like, well, Andy Stone at Facebook, who was a Democratic Party apparatchik for several years, who is now the PR lead for Facebook, saying that they're doing what they can to support deprogramming radical extremists and making sure that violent groups aren't able to manipulate your anger and disappointment, and that you can protect yourself and others in your community by reporting them to the Facebook Gestapo.
The weird thing is that allegedly in my new account, I haven't gotten a single one of those. I may have been exposed to extremist stuff.
Well,
Does
that's
that make me
disappointing.
the
You could do
extremist?
better.
That's because you
Does
are
that make me the
yeah.
extremist? Yeah, how does that work? Because
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Gavin. I'm like, I've never seen anything like that.
yeah.
Maybe.
Of course I know him. He's me.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
only
kind of
started
the
in the
class.
last
There's
little
always
bit.
one guy that asks all the dumb questions, and in
Yeah.
every class you take, and you look around and there's nobody asking dumb questions. You're probably that guy.
It's like, God,
Not
everybody's smart in here.
Yeah, but like just looking at the actual what the fuck's the word now? The news article. Like it's only saying that it will notify you, has you. Like it doesn't really imply anything about like, you know, it'll take something down, and then at some point it says it like redirects you to a support page with like a phone number. You can talk to someone about it.
I think what they're going to do, and this is me putting a little bit of my tinfoil hat on and kind of just reading the writing on the wall. So, yeah, like I think they kind of screwed up when they just deleted everybody. right?
Yeah.
Like, because one, Facebook still needs the users on there to make all the money and have the power over the other social media platforms. So they'll still continue to like enforce their terms of use and like delete certain things and delete users if they like really break the rules. But for the people that don't break the rules but are still pushing right wing, propaganda, this is a way for them to flag them and track them, right? So they haven't crossed the line, but they're towing the line per se.
Yeah,
And
because just looking at the article, right? It's like you might get a notification that pops up saying you might have been exposed to something extreme.
Well, it's
on
it's
Facebook.
like
and like here's a link for a support page, and like I don't know if it doesn't really clarify if it says like you check a box saying yes I did or no I didn't feel that way, and then you end up on the same list as the original post. Like I don't know, right?
I think it's sort of also going back to like the the other sort of like the Red Menace days where it was like, is your neighbor a communist? And it had like, it's pushing all this stuff.
The answer is emphatically yes.
I mean, yes, but like, but back then, like they weren't really, but they were trying to get everyone scared and like be worried about this thing, right? So like they're doing the same thing. If they keep telling you that like, oh my God, there's all these like crazy extremists out there, extremists.
Yeah, I hear that word so much nowadays.
Well, what does our dear leader, I don't mean Justin Trudeau, I mean Chrystia Freeland say? Repeat the lie often enough, it becomes the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is the problem though, right? Like they're going to, just like they did with the COVID stuff, right? You ram enough COVID stuff down somebody's throat, then that's all they're worried about, right? Well, now that sort of seems to be dying down until the 57th wave pops up again.
Yeah.
They're going to hit us with the right-wing extremist bullshit over and over and over again, and they won't even really define what that is. It's just that like, oh, you've been probably exposed. Which one of your friends was it? Right?
So I think obviously me reposting things from the CCFR against the Order in Council and stuff, maybe that would make me an extremist, I guess, because I'm.
Well, you're questioning the state.
I think anyone that literally questions what the government is doing is going to be labeled as an extremist.
Even though they already vetted me and told me I was more than capable of having firearms and all that stuff.
But that's not in the public view. As far as they're concerned, what happens, in the back door is always one thing, but out in public is a different matter.
The RCMP has decided that the AR-15 was absolutely fine and that you were absolutely fine. Oh, and then it wasn't. So It doesn't matter that you've been vetted. It doesn't matter that they made this decision 50 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 weeks ago. Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean,
I know
it's beating a dead horse, but it's like
violent extremists. We are terrorists because we are.
It's just it's so dumbfounding that
words are violence.
Well, I guess it's easy to point the finger at us because we're the ones that are actually putting ourselves out there, I guess. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no end to this too. I mean, like if you think about the thing that came into force this week with the old C-71, I mean, they brought in lifetime background checks now, right? So the last 5 years. Yep. So they might have vetted somebody for a PAL, gave them the PAL, and now, say if you're a veteran, you came back from Afghanistan in 2012, and you attended one session. Like almost like a post assignment debriefing from when you were in Kandahar. You came back and you had to talk to a psychologist for one session. They could say, well, you've got a history of depression. So therefore, back in 2012, that's an issue. So we're going to take away your PAL now. So you're fine up until now, until this week. And then all of a sudden now they can go back more than 5 years and say, okay, that's it.
Well, and like the thing that's so ridiculous about it for people in my position, like I've had my license since I was like 16 or something ridiculous, right? Like really young. And they went back 5 years then, right? So like I was like 11, 12 years old, and depending on exactly when I got it. And I've had my license continually since then. What difference does it make? Like, what did I do in that first like 11 years of my life or whatever that's going to be a problem? Like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and they still look for, like, if you did something like that shitty, it's going to show up in your background check, even if it was longer than 5 years ago. So none of this does anything for safety. It's just nonsense. But yeah,
It's just political theater.
yeah, it all is. And having to send an email off to the CFO today to get an ATT was fun, trying to get ahead of the curve for something.
Yeah, see,
An
and
ATT
that was
to
one
go
thing.
like travel? You're gonna
Yeah,
plan on traveling there soon, guy?
yeah,
Nice. You heading across the border or
allegedly.
possibly, eh? Nice.
Right now, that was one thing that I was curious about with this new bill coming through, potential like lifelong background check. Like I've never been in handcuffs, anything. I'm not worried about my license.
Yeah.
But when
No.
that time
It's
comes
okay.
up,
If it was in the bedroom, they're probably not going to ask about that.
all right, cool. Because then I got a lot more explaining to do, right? But I mean, so me and my wife, we did our firearms course and hunting course at the same time. We wanted to start doing something together. I was like, I want to start hunting. She's like, okay, and she had to fight a little bit more. And one of the big reasons she had to was literally the biggest bullshit call ever, right? Someone called the cops saying we're not feeding our kid and we're beating her, right?
Oh,
and
wow.
then my daughter was, I don't even think she was 2 years old yet. So cop shows up at the house at like 10:30 at night, kind of pushes his way in the house while I'm not home. I come back, there's cruisers outside. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Right. And like I had to wake my daughter up at 11 o'clock at night to say, hey, look, I'm not beating her. I had to undress her out of her pajamas to prove there's no bruises on her. They said we were doing this, we were going to kill ourselves, and we don't feed our kids. Next thing you know, cops walking around the house looking at all my cupboards saying, hey, do you have food, this, that, checking the fridge, freezer, everything, blah, blah, blah. Everything's good. Still, cops like, yeah, get the fuck in the back of the car and we're going to the hospital. So now there's record of this. Right? Even though this was all a bullshit call that had nothing to do with anything, it was a pre-arrangement of, hey, I'm going to give you money. Someone lent the money, or no, sorry, paid for something for her to start doing online business. She's like, okay, well, after you sell so much, you'll get to this specific level. Pay me back with that bonus. Well, we hadn't gotten there yet, and the person wanted their money back. And I'm like, well, that's not the agreement you made with us. So they called the cops, and that's what they said, right? So she had to fight to get her firearms license more than I did, right?
Wow.
She was like 6-7 months after me, right? Whole bunch of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, the cop was awesome. The RCMP officer we were dealing with was phenomenal.
Yeah,
He was
I mean, like for the
know,
most part, I hate using that as a line, but like they're doing their job. And like honestly, if someone says that like you're beating your kid, they should probably look into it. That's not a bad thing. But once they determine that it's
maybe not
bullshit,
at 10:30 at night, and maybe not like waking
Yeah.
sleeping children, but like, yeah, okay, you could make sure people are like not abusing children, because I feel like we
Yeah.
can agree as a panel that people that abuse kids don't deserve to be treated well.
And I'm not disagreeing
100%.
with the. I'm
but
not
once they
disagreeing
once
with
they
the cops
determine that
showing up.
that's once they determine that that wasn't the case and it's bullshit, any record that this even happened should be thrown out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? Like the
But
cops
that's
say,
not the
well,
way the RCP works.
Yeah.
Well, this was OPP. I live out.
You're telling me they keep a registry?
Well, it's the same thing.
Right?
Like when you get a credit check, somehow getting a credit check fucks up your credit. And you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Right. So at that point, like, okay, well, 3 out of the 4 things this person was worried about at our place is all bullshit, right? There's no food in my house. I beat my kid, and and you walk around the house, you look through my cupboard. There's a bunch of food in the fridge, cupboards. I got this, that, and everything. So what makes you think the 4th thing is not bullshit? Right.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Well,
whatever.
just wait.
Cops will do what cops will do. But
now that
that's
you'll
just the
be able
point.
to be reported anonymously for hate
I know.
crimes, how do you think that's
Yeah.
going to play out now with your, lifetime background check, or even just your regular 5-year background check?
Yeah.
You were anonymously reported for something that you said 25 years ago on a dial-up BBS system that you frequented.
Well, and the worst part is like maybe this is the States, maybe this is Canada. I'm not sure where the law actually applies, but don't you have the right to face your accuser at some point? Yeah, this is
No.
completely anonymous.
Not when it's a tribunal.
Yeah.
No, that was the scene in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then-
Well, maybe that too.
That's
That's a mock time. That's completely different. But
that's
no,
in the
it's
future.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that you usually have the right to face your accuser in court if you're faced with something. However, but yeah, these tribunals just take that right away. You're not allowed to know who complained about you, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, all someone has to do is basically like pick up the phone and be like, "J'accuse," and you're basically screwed.
Am I still allowed to throw the glove?
Yes.
Depends on the color of the glove. You don't want to be racist with it.
Yeah,
right.
no,
that's right. I need one of those rainbow colored gloves. Don't want to offend anybody. Got to have all the whole spectrum covered.
But they did change the laws on dueling, so hey.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like my odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
If you
You're gonna,
so how,
okay,
how does
if
that
you
work
were in
with
a
the
duel, would you take a dot or would you do iron sights?
Well, so this
Doesn't
is
matter
dot.
because I am not even going to be looking down the sight.
Yeah, you're just
a
like,
complete tangent. But when you get challenged to a duel, the person receiving the challenge gets to determine the weapons used in the duel, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Traditionally,
choose your weapons, sir.
Yeah.
So if somebody throws the rainbow colored gauntlet at me, I get to choose what we're using, right? That's
yeah. ARs at
that's the
200.
decorum.
Yeah, ARs at 600 yards.
No, AR's at 200. I am the reigning 200-meter deliberate champion in the country.
Nice.
So, well, because we can't have service rifle matches anymore, I'm the last person to have won it. That makes me the reigning champion. So,
Undefeated.
But like
AR
if we
is
were
200.
really, if we
What
were
year
really
was that?
in-
What year was that?
19.
Sorry.
2019.
So
time.
undefeated since 2019. Attaboy.
That's
But yeah,
right.
no. If I was
Take
in a
that, Ryan
duel,
Stacy.
yeah, if I was in a traditional like Western style handgun duel, like that thing is getting fired as soon as I break leather. Like that is just like there's no wasting time bringing it all the way up to my face and trying to aim that thing. It's just because it would be obviously a single action. So you gotta.
I mean,
pull the
I
hammer
guess
back.
if you wanted to do it with single action, I'm going with ARs at 200.
Well, I'm just saying if it was a traditional duel, like we know that, like pistols at like high noon.
I believe a traditional
street.
duel would be a single shot French pistol that comes as a match set in a box.
You know,
Well, it's
ball
probably
and
like
cap if you're lucky. Yeah.
Or well, it's probably sabers or rapiers or something like that. But like,
I can get behind that. We should
Move on.
we should keep going. This has been a
More duel talk. Okay, you get to do a duel with fully automatic machine. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go.
all right. All of my friends with firearms versus all of your friends, and let's assume the people that are challenging me to have duels are not going to be of the firearm owning variety.
Can I call in an airstrike?
Well,
Yes.
we know a guy with a plane. Do we know anybody that can drop bombs out of them?
I know
accurately,
I know
no.
they can call in like airstrike coordinates with ATAC.
Well, yeah, that's
Well,
easy.
Yeah. Anyway,
But that all depends what your kill count is before you can get the airstrike.
It's true.
this is getting very technical. We should move right along to other things. The reigning liberal government would like to tell us that by 2035, all new cars and light-duty trucks sold in Canada will be electric.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
luck
I
with
don't think
this.
so.
Where do you want to
in-
begin? Do you want to begin with the grid capabilities, or do you want to begin with the gas versus electric pollute, which is the worst polluter?
The great thing is an excellent segue to my next story in the stack here, which is from Global News. Alberta Electricity Operator declares a level 1 energy emergency during their historic heat wave.
Yeah. So remember
So,
back in the day,
don't run all your fans in Alberta. Definitely don't charge your electric cars.
that was the
what if
line.
everybody was charging their trucks at that point?
That's the line that got me the best was the "don't charge your cars if at all possible." So since you're close to being a boomer, Andrew, you probably remember that back in the day when they brought in
Boomer.
half boomer when they brought in
On
from
his father's side.
incandescents to compact fluorescents. And the reason they were bringing those in, even though they had mercury in them and they were a little bit more polluting than incandescents, they said we have to bring these in because the grid is super fragile and it has limited generation capability. So we have to do these compact fluorescents in order to combat the burgeoning population in Canada because we only have so much pie to split up, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well then LEDs are going to save the day because now we can bring in even more people and then maintain the current grid because we've got less power.
Not to interrupt, but what's the repopulation rate in this country? The birth rate is like
Too high.
1.
The birth rate.
We talking birth rate or we talking birth rate or import rate?
Birth rate.
The import.
Because,
Let's just say that it's about as heavy as that waterfall behind you.
Well, its birth rate is still better than 2.1.
Is it?
Yeah,
is it much better?
No, it's 2.3 or something like that. So we're still
okay. So it's 2.3,
producing more than we're losing.
We're still, and what's our import rate? It's much higher.
Yeah, 375,000 a year.
I have a solution. I know this is going to be controversial, but like, if we can't support all the people that are here, and we are not Japan, and we are able to have more babies than people die in a year, 2.3 would be more, 0.3 more actually.
Weird. I just had this thing pop up on my screen that says I've just potentially been exposed to some sort of extreme. Did anyone else get that when Andrew was talking, or is it just me?
That's so weird.
I
realize it's a controversial position, but
if
we don't have enough resources to support our existing population, maybe we should artificially limit our population growth.
Where I was going with that, though, Gavin, before I start, I'm just going to stomp all over you here for a second. But so where I was going with that was, okay, so we had to do these compact fluorescents sort of to save the grid. We had to do LEDs to save the grid. But this is the same government authority that's turning right around telling us that we have excess generation capability to accommodate having unlimited electric cars under a certain weight class and category in order to and we have so much that we can actually charge all these cars every day for at least 8 hours a day.
Well, and I'm going somewhere kind of in that same vein where it's like, okay, we've had to increase or better our technology because the load is too high. So we need to have something that draws less load or whatever, right? Like manage our resources better. Oh, great. Now we've got more capacity. Let's max it out again. No, that's not how that works. You don't go and immediately max it out again. That is not a good policy. You have to have the surplus, not in tax dollars, in other things. You don't want the surplus of tax dollars. You want the surplus of electricity. Not so much that we have to pay New York to take it, but enough that if some guy wants to have an electric car and he decides to plug it in at the same time as everyone else, we can meet that demand. But you don't go, wow, we were maxed out on our electrical needs for so long, and now LEDs have saved us. Let's immediately max out the system again. No, that is the dumbest thing ever.
At least we're slightly smarter than Ontario over here on this side of the country. The fact that any excess generation capacity we have from the Bennett Dam up in northeastern BC immediately gets sold to California because they have a deficit of energy, right?
And also look at how good things are going for electric cars in California, where they're having rolling brownouts and you can't charge your car, so people are having generators in order to power their car. So now you've got all of the crazy chemicals in the battery and all the gas burning to charge up the battery.
They will take any excess generation capability we have. So already our grid is maxed out theoretically, especially if we want to turn a profit, maybe pay off some of that debt, heaven forbid. So the fact is that we really don't have a whole lot to spare. Now, then we can get into the lithium mines versus the oil burning and everything else. The amount of energy it takes to make an electric car versus the gasoline powered car, which one uses more energy to create and over the course of its life, and replacing those batteries is no small feat in each of those cars. So I don't understand, other than vote buying before an election, I can't imagine why they would announce something like this and give themselves a 12-year timeline to switch it out, which is completely unrealistic.
The weird thing is, though,
to do this, it requires determination, focus, and effort. Basically, the minister that's in charge of this sounds like he's narrating a John Wick movie.
Where's the
It's not
point
as
where he starts
good.
going ballistic on Russians?
Yeah.
It's coming.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's
So-
it's going to be the Afghans, because where do you think we're going to go and get all the lithium for the batteries from?
Did we get lithium from? I thought we got lithium from China. Did we get lithium from Afghanistan?
Well,
I'm
wherever
pretty
they're
sure
allowing
it's all
open
over
pit
there.
mines and human slavery, I suppose.
Yeah.
We will by
Okay, so that could be
2035.
Africa, Middle East, China. There's a whole big part of the world where that's all.
I don't know. There's some chemical or whatever that's in the soil in the Middle East that's used in battery technology. I'm pretty sure it's lithium, but it could be one of the other ones that's in the newer battery stuff. But like, basically, we're still going to be in war in the Middle East because we either need their oil or we need their stuff
We've
for batteries.
always been at war with the Middle East.
You mispronounced East Asia.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
So I'm just curious out of this. Like, so I have a 37-foot camper
Nice.
that well, it is nice until you start fucking driving it and people can't be nice on the road, right? So I'm just curious, right? So we keep borrowing our friend's truck. We're looking at buying a truck. So what's going to be my fuel mile? Well, I guess distance per voltage drop, I guess you could say at this point, right? For me driving. Now, am I going to have to pull over somewhere and charge my truck for 2 hours compared to me pulling into a gas station and pumping gas in 5 minutes and being back on the road?
The good news is, at least until 2040, this only applies to light duty and passenger vehicles. So your Ford F-350 Super Duty probably still gets to run on gas.
I'm getting a fucking diesel on my next truck.
Yeah, I'm
You buy
thinking
a
diesel,
Dodge.
and for some reason I have a farm.
Yeah, I think my
Yeah.
deuce and a half will be my daily driver or something like that.
Yeah.
If you don't need it for all day, everyday hauling, you look at that Dodge Eco Diesel or the GM. I don't know what they called theirs, but they came out with their version of an Eco Diesel, the 6-liter. So it's got the tow capacity of a diesel minus the that huge fucking Cummins motor or the 6.6 turbo in a 3500. It's still a 1500, but it gives you a crap load of capacity for towing and everything. And like 900 one of the guys I work with, he has a camper. He can tow it around, whether he's towing or driving normal. He gets like 800 to 900 kilometers on that tank of diesel.
Nice.
I mean, and we could even do biodiesel, and you could make it yourself if you can, separate out the glycerin, and then you can use that to make soap. That's green.
Allegedly.
I'll just start
Or other
deep frying more
things.
stuff.
Does anybody have heart pills?
Yeah.
I find this entire thing suspect. The fact that the government is going to be dropping $600 million into a rebate program to get buyers into electric vehicles, and the fact that it's 2021, they want this by 2035, and it has to be done by 2040.
Well,
I find this all very suspicious, and well, it is a little tinfoily. I don't disagree with Conquer Your Future on YouTube. This is all Agenda 21 stuff. We want global commuter cars, everybody to be electric, but
Can we just
Still
defund the UN already?
but we're still predominantly powering these cars with fossil fuels.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, a family member of mine just got an electric vehicle, but it also has a gas motor. So, is it going to be that type of a vehicle? Well, it's not going to be fully electric.
No, they're talking
It'll have
zero
gas.
emission electric.
Oh, really? Okay.
But you still got to
They're
charge
not-
your electric car, and our grid is predominantly powered by fossil
Fossil
fuel.
fuels.
Yeah, and we can't keep up with the demand that we've already got. What do you think it's going to be when all of these
Well, and
people have
that's
cars?
why I put
And-
these two stories together,
Yeah.
because I'm like, well, the liberal government says we need to have everybody drive Priuses, or don't sue us, Toyota. I'm using your thing generically. I can't afford a Tesla.
Can I
Just
put the
let's
gun
be-
from an A10 on it, like Matt Best?
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
also
I
have
mean-
to buy many, many pairs of silicone doodads for your.
It's probably just for vote grabs, obviously, because
Well,
they're hoping that people
are.
aren't going to read into it as much and talk about it as much as we are right now.
No,
And
you mean like all
realize
the
it's a
money that
massive
they
failure.
all the money they promised to all of the things and then never spend on that, yet somehow are still over budget?
Yeah, but
Well,
people
that's-
hear
if-
the words like we're going to make everybody have electric cars by the year 2035, and they're like, Ooh, Justin Trudeau's my
Oh,
hero.
you mean like calling ARs the most deadliest, dangerous thing in society, but you guys can still hang
I
on to
thought
them?
that was white men.
Yeah, same thing. And
White men with ARs.
who do you think has
Andrew.
the ARs? I mean, come on.
White man with ARs.
Or like, we're going to outlaw single-use plastics, except it's the Rona pandemic where single-use plastics are the only thing that will save us all.
Did you ever guys see that? You guys see that video when a reporter asked Justin Trudeau about getting rid of single plastic use? He's like, I'm going to
Drinking
get
water waddle thing box.
some kind of plastic.
Yeah.
And do you notice that he specifically kind of excluded tampons from that idea?
Yeah. Well, that's because just before that, there was a shitstorm about the taxes on those things.
Yeah. No, well, you can't go after that, obviously, because then you'll get a huge backlash.
And I don't want to put words in Marty's mouth because he's not here, but I'm sure this is where he would chime in and say something about giving women the vote, and that this wouldn't have been a problem if they wouldn't care. They wouldn't be able to vote against
See,
it.
I wouldn't put words in Marty's mouth, but if I were going to look at this, Marty did the math on what it would cost them to charge an electric car where he lives because they have rural delivery for their electricity.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
It's not even remotely close to economical.
No.
Really?
Well,
No,
and
the delivery charges are just too high for electricity in rural Ontario.
And again, I'm
was
not as
that
smart
guy
as
that
Marty when it comes
didn't use
to.
his cottage at all or whatever, and still had to pay like $150 bill for his delivery charge for not delivering fuck all.
Yeah, I'm not as smart as Marty when it comes to engineering, quality, complicated stuff here. But call me crazy, but it does get cold in most of Canada, right? And I understand that battery efficiency kind of falls off a cliff below a certain temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. When it gets really cold, like anywhere near freezing, batteries don't work so good.
Yeah, so imagine if you're in Tuktoyaktuk and you're expected to run a battery-powered vehicle in -40, where it's -40 for like 5 months of the year.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
and
hope
so
you
not
enjoyed
just-
your
not
first
just
round
cold.
of lockdowns because you're just going to be used to that because your shit's not going anywhere for 5 months then.
Yeah, but see, it's not.
Yeah,
that
and
it's
there's
just
the
cold.
snowmobiles they drive. Are they going to have to be electric as well? All the
Eventually.
snowmobiles?
Well,
But-
this is like another massive problem that I don't see how their government is planning to solve this. Is we have all of this fossil fuel, gasoline, like petrol infrastructure.
Yeah.
We're just going to decommission it all in the next 12 years.
Well, we've already started with the pipelines, but I mean, the problem is
It's
though
a
is with the
joke.
battery
It's
thing is that like what happens when
stupid.
it's the cold part of the year is it's also the dark part of the year. So that means when our batteries don't function well and have less capacity because of the cold, we need to use them more to generate the power to move the vehicle, but also to run the heater
and the lights.
and the lights. So when we need it the most, we don't have the power. Like
they'll be at
electric
its
cars,
worst.
like don't get me wrong, like electric cars and battery stuff is cool. Like you can do some really cool stuff with it. We're not there yet. So to mandate it and put a date on it that's so soon is stupid.
Yeah, it just shows
Especially
you how
when-
dumb they are.
Yeah,
It's just
and
not
that's what I'm
practical.
curious about. Are we gonna change out gas pumps for like crazy heavy duty charging capacity where whether you drive a truck or if you drive let's say a 1500 or an F-150, my battery's running low. Will you pull into one of these altered gas stations / charge stations now and just hook this thing up and how long does it take to fill up a truck? I drive a truck to work. It takes like 4 minutes, let's say.
Yeah, like I've got like a
Maybe
65 liter tank in my car, which is a pretty big tank for a car, and that takes me a couple of minutes, and then I'm on the road again, right? Like,
my work truck's 140 liter tank. So I mean, we're just talking 5 minutes. Can I plug something in and get it to 100% battery voltage
in the same time frame?
No.
Even if you were to say double the time frame of what it takes to fill your car with gas as to what it is to charge it, that'd still be pretty awesome. Even 4 times that would still be reasonable. It's not. It's going to be like hours and hours and hours and hours, which is
right. So one of those little towns not too far from where I am is right on the highway on the 417. coming from the dark side province. And, they put those Tesla quick charge stations where it's like 20 minutes to charge a Tesla?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think that's because I think they have the special batteries and the charging.
No, that's
systems.
just a basic electrical term. Like I can't remember the name of it, what it's called, but there's a charging cycle attached to most capacitors / batteries where basically it's a 5-cycle thing. The first cycle gets you up to 80% or 65%. The second one gets you 80%, and then the third one gets you like 90%. And so, but they're equal time cycles. So that's why they say they can do this in 5 or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. That only gets you to a 65% charge or whatever. To get it all the way up, it almost takes overnight. But
yeah, and like Tesla paid for these. They got their fancy Tesla stands or whatever, and they ran so many wires, and they added a gigantic electrical box on the ground or whatever. Right? So I'm like, unless you're going to do that everywhere, and I'm like, it's kind of
well,
close.
But that's the thing.
Like,
they're going to have to do that everywhere because the battery capacity and the distance that these vehicles can drive is not the same as a car that runs on gasoline that can go hundreds of kilometers.
Yeah. Right?
Not to mention you can take jerry cans with you too if you're going to be on.
But yeah, like when you're in the middle of, like if you're driving through like northernish Ontario, the
Dempster Highway in the Yukon.
The frequency of gas stations is not there, but that's because cars could travel that distance.
Yeah.
On a tank, even a small car with a small tank can fill up at this station and make it to the next one.
Yeah,
it'd be fine.
Yeah, right. And that's
electric can't do that, especially in the winter when it's cold at night and you need to run all of your electrical stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
And hopefully, they're also listening to the podcast while they're doing that drive, which is going to eat up more battery having the radio going. If it's raining and you've got to run your windshield wipers, that's going to eat up your battery faster as well.
Yeah.
I feel like the big one is the power generation to turn the drivetrain, but okay. I'll give you, it's a tiny motor, sure.
Yeah, but it's still, it adds up, right? Over a 3-hour, 4-hour drive, all of those things working together is going to drain the battery faster.
I have good news for you. I think the ultimate goal is that we'll own nothing and we'll like it.
I don't know about the liking it part.
No,
according to Klaus, you will.
The other thing I was thinking, if the CCFR wins their property rights lawsuit, would this kind of fall into that? Because wouldn't they be telling us by 2035 that we have to get rid of our property, that being gas vehicles?
Well, Hal on YouTube brings this up as a good point. It's not banning the ownership of them. It's the government is trying to eliminate the sale of them.
Oh, yeah. I see. So you'd still be able to own them.
If anything, they'll make it so that like it's crazy impossible to run a gas station and to sell gas, and they'll probably tax it to oblivion. Not that they don't already, but like
instead of what they're doing today.
Yeah, like they'll make it quadruple what it is today, so that like, oh, we didn't tell you that you can't own a gas car, but like, where are you going to fill it up? Because we've subsidized heavily the electric car sale and the places to charge it and everything else. So there's just not like feasible for somebody to own and run a gas station. There's financial incentive for them to not run a gas station and to run a electric car charging thing. So yeah, we're not banning your gas car. It's just you can't run it because there's nowhere to get gas.
Well, I think if they do that, they're going to create a huge underground culture of gas heads, if you want to call them.
Yeah, but how?
People will find a way.
Who's going to get the gas? Who's going to refine
Lord
it?
humongous.
the gasoline, but it's really around to spare parts and vehicles and chassis and everything else, and eventually they'll all disappear because if they don't sell any new ones, it's just a matter of time.
It look like Cuba. It would look like Cuba, I guess.
And then there's going to be some midget riding on the back of some big dude, and they're going to have a
big farm underground. We got this. We've been training. We're ready.
Yeah. Who runs harder town?
And if you keep your gas or diesel powered vehicle, you'll just end up in the same scenario that electric car vehicles are running into now, right? They can't take trips to certain areas because they're like, well, the last last charging station, is 800 kilometers from my final destination where I can plug it in a buddy's house overnight, but I can't make it more than 600 kilometers, right? So they'll just slowly push you out of the way by eliminating gas stations, being like, yeah, well, it's,
they won't have to ban
kilometers.
it. Yeah, they won't have to ban it. So yeah, you can still own your gas guzzler, Brian, but like you just can't fill it up anywhere. And like unless you had your own oil well and your own refinery,
or your chainsaw, or your snowmobile, or your motorcycle, or your generator, like just keep adding
literally
the list
anything.
of things.
So my plan of having a trailer generator hooked up to the back of my electric car with the wire going straight into it, that's going to go by the wayside, is what you're saying?
I'm pretty sure that's how you make the perpetual motion machine, is you just have a generator on wheels and you just keep topping it up as you're driving. That's how that works, right?
Either that or get yourself a diesel generator and then you can switch it to biodiesel.
Yeah.
There's enough price stands out there that you could probably power that for quite a long time.
Yeah. I think biodiesel is going to be the only way. Like if this nonsense keeps coming down the pipe, that's about the only way that the average person would be able to still run a fuel-based vehicle and be able to sustain themselves, is by basically getting the fryer oil, taking the glycerin out and pouring it into the engine themselves.
I wonder how
And
many
I'm sorry, Gavin, we don't use that anymore. Down the pipe, we use through the cord now.
I don't. Anyway, Bill C10.
Now,
one more in the stack. We're kind of running long, but that's okay. Pierre Polivier was all excited, and I'm going to poop all over his parade. I was on the Post Millennial. Breaking: Trudeau's censorship bill fails to pass through the Senate, which is actually a lie. Post Millennial, get your shit together.
It hasn't failed. It's just stalled.
Michael Geist has a much more detailed write-up of the discussions around C10. His article is, the Senate Bill C10 debate concludes, I don't think this bill needs amendment. It needs a stake through the heart. Yep. Somebody play the Bon John Jovi.
Yeah. You know what, this guy, though, I really hope he has a brother named Zeit.
Geist,
yeah. Well done. So C10 went to Senate. This is the censorship bill. You can't say anything bad about the government or you'll get a fine. And if you get reported, somebody could anonymously accuse you and you face years in prison and $70,000 in fines and never being able to face your accuser or have your day in court. To be very clear, it did not fail to pass through the Senate. It failed to go through the Senate before the summer recess.
Yep.
It's a misleading title.
Yeah.
The Senate did not kill C10. The Senate just isn't going to debate it before the summer recess.
So we're saying that a news can give 100% the truth on.
Well, I'm saying Pierre Polivier, who normally I wouldn't poop on as a politician because he is probably about my number 3 favorite MP.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Well, he's up there. I of the were I to have to grab a politician by the clean end, I would start with him.
Agreed.
So it's not that this has not gone through the Senate. The Senate discussed this for 2 days. The Senate discussed Bill C10 for 2 days. Basically, it needs way more time in review and committee. And all of the senators that spoke about it spoke negatively about it, but nobody, it was like in favor of voting against it. So we'll see what happens because
maybe they were just so like in awe of how terrible it is they didn't even know where to start, and we're just like we're gonna need
how bad it is for 2 days.
We're gonna need a lot more time.
Well, I had this discussion with the wife actually. How many, like generally in the last 20 years, how many bills has the Senate actually
so close to zero that it may as well be zero?
Exactly. And so the chances of, no matter how much they piss and moan about it, the chances of them actually killing this bill once it's left the House of Commons is
that's-
zero.
Statistically,
because
still zero.
The vast majority of the senators are actually liberal, even if they're called independents, because
Well, so
they're
are the
still
judges. That's why
Yeah.
I don't understand why the CCFR has any hope whatsoever as hoping a judge will save the day when they're mostly liberal appointees. But what are you going to do?
Then violently overthrow the government in Minecraft.
Yes.
Stay tuned for next week's show on BitChute.
So they
Legally,
say
with due
this one is
process.
safe. They say this bill, there's no way it could pass until what? November or October?
October
that,
is
huh?
probably a realistic early because it's going to be referred to study. So they're going to come back
Yeah.
from summer recess in September, the first week of September. Then they're going to do another study on this, which is, another 3-4 weeks. So we're probably looking at October-ish.
Yeah.
And then we have another 2 days of debate and a vote.
But look how fast they passed that first privacy bill, C-36, was it? And they passed it at 1 in. Like, what politician works till 1 in?
No, but this is
The shitty
still,
ones when they want to
this is
pass
still
something sneaky.
Yeah.
the House. That was done in the House, and that was C10 that was passed at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So I mean, like they could do it if they really got slipped enough cash in the
Yes,
suitcase.
If they wanted to, they could, and they could have put this through. But the Senate declined to pass C6 and C10, which I'm okay with that not going through because
Yeah.
the
it's dumb.
advantage to this is if there's an election called, which I don't know why everyone is saying there's going to be election. I like maybe there's some sort of cope going on that I'm not aware of.
Yeah,
I don't
not gonna
think
happen.
there is one.
it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it would have
con-
happened already.
Conservative Instagram, conservative Twitter is all like, "There's gonna be a fall election. We gotta get a tool in."
I think
everybody,
they just
but it's
want
like,
money.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, they always want money, but why?
but they're pushing.
Why are we all
hard
banging
for
the drum
money.
for the fall election? What's the what cope is conservative internet doing that I'm not?
I don't know,
into?
but they are pushing hard for like the war chest, right? Like we need to be ready for an election that's going to drop at any minute. Send us all of your money, which they're always asking for money,
Right,
but like
This is the same party that unanimously agreed to postpone an election until after the COVID emergency is over. So
when is that over? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not over according to them. So
yeah.
Right. And even reading the 2-3 articles about all this, they're even saying like, oh, they don't even think it's going to pass because there's going to be an election before it gets anywhere to actual legislate. Right. So I mean, even 2-3 different news articles are saying, oh, we think there's going to be an election before that. I'm just like,
no.
I want to know why everyone thinks there's going to be an election. I mean, I think it'd be great if there was, but I don't see how it benefits anyone like us, anyone on this panel.
I mean, if there is one, the benefit is that it delays C10, C36, and C whatever the fuck else is going on.
Okay,
a couple of months down the road. Like that's all that does.
The can down the road 6 months.
Yeah. That's all that does for us because
that's the only good or perfect outcome, right? It's like, or I shouldn't say perfect, but it's like, yeah, that's all it would do. It's just like, okay, it kind of puts a pause button that can't be unpaused until this date.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we kick the can down the road 6 months on a bunch of stuff that doesn't change my ability to own the firearms that I currently am in possession of. It doesn't change the ability of my children to own firearms that I'm in possession of.
Well, the best case scenario is that it pauses and then we get a new leadership.
But
I don't.
But that's the thing, though. So if an election's called, all these bills get shit canned instantly.
Yeah.
The problem is that like we need a conservative majority, and then the conservatives need to actually make good on the promises that they've made. A conservative minority isn't going to get anything done because no one's going to cooperate with them, and then they're going to have to do like. I have a controversial
take. The conservatives should not be in charge of this country because the conservatives do not conserve, have historically not conserved anything for any time that they've been in power anywhere in this country.
Andrew, we've heard your point on this a bunch of times.
Agreed.
But who the hell else are we going to have elected?
We don't have anyone else. We absolutely don't have anyone else.
But there's going to be some random.
There's a random general somewhere that's ready to take over the country, I'm sure.
No, there's not. Have you seen our military? They're all embroiled in sexual scandals. They can't
That's
keep
true,
their dick in their
yeah.
pants.
Or
Okay, a
What
random
about the- what
major
about that-
somewhere.
what about that guy that was like instrumental in getting that, what was that Op Medusa together? We should talk to that guy and see if he's
Yeah.
going to help us.
Liberal.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's the problem. Like a conservative minority isn't going to accomplish anything, because even if they have the right idea, no one's going to want to work with them because virtue signaling and like ABC, right? Anything but conservative.
Yeah.
A liberal minority, if we happen to get another liberal minority, they'll just partner with the NDP and the Greens to accomplish the things that they're doing like they are now.
Yeah, they seem like they're doing fine, pushing all their
Or
crap
if
through,
they get
all
a,
their agendas.
or if they get a liberal majority, all the better for them. They can do whatever the hell it is they want without having to worry about getting the other left-leaning parties
Yeah,
on
it
board.
just means there's no debate in the House. It just all immediately goes through the process. There's just
Yeah.
debate
So
gets
I could-
limited and moves on.
I could see the Bloc Québécois parting up with the Conservatives if they get enough seats.
Yeah, but only on certain things.
Only
though.
on
Like,
certain things, though. That's the yeah.
If the conservatives all of a
disagree.
sudden
The
want
ones
to
we
take
don't care
on the like, yes, we will support you in your no face covering ban and all of that stuff, where it's like that kind of stuff, they'll gladly walk hand in hand with the conservatives. But like, the Bloc doesn't like guns.
But not only that, but if the Liberals give Quebec what they want as far as self-determination and their own constitution and their country within a country status and all that stuff, they're going to cut the legs out of the Bloc Québécois from getting votes next time because they've already accomplished their mission.
Yeah.
Well, I actually I have a novel take on that. I think giving Quebec their own self-determination and their own constitution and allowing them to be a nation within a country, this is our best possible outcome for the rest of the country is balkanization.
Yeah. You have your
I've
own
said
thing.
before,
Fuck
and
off. You
it
don't
bear-
get any more transfer payments.
Well, but I've said before, and it bears repeating, that we are too large and too geographically and politically dispersed to be a nation of this size. We are a confederation of convenience, and our absolute best hope is the 4 or 5 nations that exist within this country become their own individual nations.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. So I do and I don't, right? Because I have, I shouldn't say that. I should just say that, maybe Eastern, Western, and Central should potentially just have more political pull, I guess you could say, or input in a lot of stuff, right?
But the problem
Kind
is,
of
though,
a-
is as
But
soon as
as
you
long
do
as the
that,
Maritimes have more votes than Western Canada, it doesn't matter.
nobody should have any more say in how the country is governed than anyone else, and that's
So
the
that's-
problem. We're too big with too many varied opinions,
Yeah.
and that we
So I'm-
actually need smaller units.
Let
all
Quebec
work
be
together.
Quebec. Let the rednecks be the rednecks. Let the hippies be the hippies, and let the newfies be the
Yeah.
newfies. Right? Like
So-
we
so
are
that's
a
where-
collection of distinct peoples,
That
nations.
doesn't mean that we can't work together, and there will actually be more incentive to work together if we can all recognize each other's differences and just stop paying for everyone
I'm
else's
sorry.
stupidity.
Did you just say that diversity is literally our strength?
No.
Okay,
We need to
just checking.
recognize that we are different, and that it's okay that we're different, and it doesn't make us better or worse.
Sounds a lot like diversity is our strength.
No. This is some like Triple H club shit, right? Where it's just like, we'll work together because it's in our best interest to work together. But we're
Yeah,
also
like-
our own group, and you can fuck off and stay over there, and I'll fuck off and stay over here. But if it makes sense for us to do trade on an economic thing, we're going to do trade because it's beneficial to all of us.
Yeah. Can we agree that
And
humanity
then-
will prosper with more cooperation?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I think that is that's kind of my point, is that balkanization and treating these smaller geographic areas with more localized government is our best possible hope of a peaceful outcome to this.
Because I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel would agree with me. Like, I don't care what anybody else does in their life, as long as you just leave me alone and let me do what I want to do, right?
Wow.
that's
How well has that worked out for everybody that's getting their extremist warnings on Facebook?
yeah, exactly, right.
I don't have
It doesn't.
Facebook, so I'm safe.
Unfortunately, it's not that easy, but it would be nice if it was.
Yeah, but we really need to maybe add some Triple H to the book club, because this is basically exactly the kind of shit he's talking about, but like true libertarianism, not this weird watered down lefty libertarianism nonsense. Physical removal.
If you don't start practicing some Triple H, sooner or later people are going to start practicing some Triple S.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't mean shit, shower, and shave.
No.
This is my problem, is that we're running this country as though it's a real country, and it's not.
What?
We are no less than 4 distinct groups of people living in the same very, very large landmass.
Yeah. Smaller units of people that want to be together, voluntarily working together, is so much better than one giant mess where 33% of the population dictates how the rest of the population lives.
Right, and I don't disagree, but so we're 10 provinces and 3 territories.
Last I checked it, that
Think
sounds
that's what
right
it
to
is?
me.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I don't know. They keep changing that, but that's not enough, because like you look at like Ontario alone. Ontario has distinct areas where like the people in Toronto care about these things, the people in southwestern Ontario care about this, the people in northern Ontario care about this. They can't all agree on something.
How many seats? So how many seats are in the government right now?
338.
I'm not that. 338.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So divide that by 13. What would it be? Ballpark.
30
On my
something.
calculator.
But that's the problem, though, right? You start getting into weird things. However you split it up, it's going to be fucked, because if you divide it equally amongst the provinces and territories, then like a small province like PEI is going to have the same say as somewhere like Ontario, but like the Ontario government represents a large population base as opposed to the PEI one. So that's not fair. But if you
But too many people are in Ontario, or ship that.
Yeah.
I'm okay
but there's no
addressing a scenario like that.
Yeah, there's no fair way to do it, though. That's the problem. And the people in Ontario are never going to vote to change that system because they realize that they're going to get fucked.
Not only that, but it's not even a true rep by pop. It's not like there's like one seat for every 50,000 people. It's unfairly distributed even on a rep by pop basis in Canada.
We really need to move to some other system, and like proportional representation
Remember the time
is better,
that the Liberal government campaigned, like the Trudeau government campaigned on this was going to be the last first past the post election in 2016? I remember when they campaigned on that.
I also remember when they talked about following the COVID science and then doing science-based stuff to prevent it.
Or following fact-based policy
science
in general and having transparency and
full transparency.
Shutting down conversations on literally everything.
Self-balancing budgets, all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, they did promise. There was even a minister who was in charge of that. She was a cunt. And she's now the minister of something else because she couldn't accomplish the one thing that it was her mandate to do, because they realized that they would get screwed if they moved to something else. But proportional representation or something closer to that rather than first past the post would at least be a more fair representation of what the country as a whole wanted. But even that still has problems when you only have X number of seats and it's always going to be the same. We would need to do that, and then nobody represents any geographic location per se, because it's X amount of people want conservative, so there are X number of conservative politicians. So all of the regional stuff that's important to some people but not important to others doesn't get accounted for.
Well, and then you've also got problems with the Constitution writing in, a guaranteed minimum amount of seats for certain provinces and everything else. It's a problem.
Yeah. So
we're
defund the UN, break apart the nation, and start forming smaller countries. I claim New Rhodesia.
Republic of Vancouver Island. Here we go.
I officially declare UDI, and New Rhodesia starts today.
You can't just say you're your own government.
Yeah.
They did.
That's,
Why
that's what the
can't I?
Americans did. That's what the Rhodesians did.
No, they declared it.
Okay, well,
I declare.
I do declare.
I do declare, sir.
Well,
I'm down.
I think
Let me
we're
know
gonna
when
have to
show
put
up.
some Hans Hermann Hoppe on the book club list. So bust out your copies of Democracy: The God That Failed. That's not going to be a cheap book. I think the last time I looked, it was about $110 a copy.
Audiobook is
Whoa.
way less.
Probably banned in most places too.
No, it's audiobook is way less. I'm just finishing it up. Actually, tomorrow will be my last 30 minutes of reading.
Yes, but I read physical books. We've been
Yeah,
discussing.
that's a you problem.
I have a feeling we gotta we should put this book on the reading list before Bill C10 passes, just in case you can't order it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Not bad. Speaking of book club, coming up in July, we're back to our favorite gay Nazi, another Jack Donovan book.
Yeah,
We
gotta
haven't done
get this
Jack
one
Donovan
under
in a
the
year.
the C10 thing too.
This is going to be Becoming a Barbarian, which might be relevant to the whole balkanization thing.
Maybe I should.
We're also on
reach out to him and
Discord
see if he'll
if you
join
want to.
us.
If you want to come and hang out and talk smack about the government, we're on Discord. And we'll go around. Let me see if we've got. Pierre's got social media, but it doesn't use it. Brian doesn't have social media. Ian, do they have somewhere they can email you?
Yes, you can email me at theislandretreat@gmail.com or find me on Sunday evenings on YouTube, 9 p.m. Eastern, Canadian Prepper Podcast.
And Gavin, you still got your social media?
My second round of social media allegedly, yes, still exists for now. You can find me on the gram, UrbexGTA, all one word.
All right. If you have listened to our show this long, you deserve a discount code. Go to Ragnarok Tactical. Use the discount code Patriot at checkout. Save yourself some money. Bonus points to the guy today that ordered a product that I made no margin and lost money shipping on. Well done, sir.
Yeah, you can also find stuff at bennylewis.ca, no discount, and he's got stuff. Sorry, Benny, you're not here. You can get better
Benny's not
ad
here,
copy
that's-
if you
yeah.
give me money. Yeah.
And just for the listeners, in the space that we were talking about it, I just got a copy of Triple H's Democracy: The God That Failed. Give me a call or give me an email. We can probably sort something out.
Yeah.
All right.
Legal means too.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go. You do you.
Yeah.
I have to apologize to Rod. We couldn't get Rod Gilthak on the show tonight. Big panel. Busy day. All that good stuff. For all of our listeners out there in podcast land, I'd like to remind you that you are the true north.